Let's talk about the evolution of social responsibility in business. The objective of this section is to describe how our current views on the social responsibility of business have evolved. During the first quarter of the 20th century, businesses were free to operate pretty much as they chose. Working conditions were often deplorable by today's standards. The average work week exceeded 60 hours in most industries. There was no minimum wage law. There were no employee benefits. Work areas were crowded and unsafe, and industrial accidents were the rule rather than the exception. During this period, consumers were generally subject to the doctrine of caveat emptor, a Latin phrase meaning let the buyer beware. Victims of unscrupulous business practices could take legal action, but going to court was very expensive and consumers rarely won their cases. There were no consumer groups or government agencies to hold sellers responsible for their activities. Prior to the 1930s, government became involved in day-to-day business activities only when there was an obvious case of abuse of the free market system and competition was endangered. Table 2.3 shows a list of early government regulations affecting business. The collapse of the stock market on October 29, 1929, triggered the Great Depression and years of economic problems for the United States. Public pressures mounted for government to do something about the economy and about worsening social conditions. As a result, laws were passed to correct what many viewed as monopolistic abuses of big business, and various social services were provided for individuals. As government involvement has increased, so has everyone's awareness of the social responsibility of business. Government regulation and public awareness are external forces that have increased the social responsibility of business. But business decisions are made within the firm, and there, social responsibility begins with the attitude of management. There are two models of social responsibility. The economic model of social responsibility holds that society will benefit most when business is left alone to produce and market profitable products that society needs. The socioeconomic model of social responsibility holds that business should emphasize not only profits, but also the impact of its decisions on society. The merits of the economic and socioeconomic models have been debated for years. Each side seems to have four arguments. Proponents of the socioeconomic model offer the following four arguments. 1. Business cannot ignore social issues because business is a part of our society. 2. Business has the technical, financial, and managerial resources needed to tackle today's complex social issues. 3. By helping to resolve social issues, business can create a more stable environment for long-term profitability. 4. Socially responsible decision-making by business firms can prevent increased government intervention, which would force businesses to do what they fail to do voluntarily. Opponents of the socioeconomic model offer these arguments. 1. Business managers are responsible primarily to stockholders, so management must be concerned with providing a return on owners' investments. 2. Corporate time, money, and talent should be used to maximize profits, not to solve society's problems. 3. Social problems affect society in general, so individual businesses should not be expected to solve these problems. 4. Social issues are the responsibility of government officials who are elected for that purpose and who are accountable to the voters for their decisions. Today, few firms are either purely economic or purely socioeconomic in outlook. Most have chosen some middle ground between the two. However, our society generally seems to want, and even to expect, some degree of social responsibility from business. Thus, within the middle ground between the two extremes, businesses are leaning toward the socioeconomic view.